Surely such sedition should sour and succumb to Sigvald, the salacious, scandalous, and sensational servant of Slaanesh. We have Chaos facing off against the Dark Elves, with Way commanding the Warriors of Chaos, and Stormrunner will be his opponent commanding the Druki. So for the Chaos forces, of course, we do have Prince Sigvald the Magnificent. He is going to bring his Auric armor, going to give him a nice little bit of regeneration, +8, and he is a very hefty duelist here with his 110 armor. He has a massive 100 base leadership, and he has some very impressive stats with 70 melee attack, 60 melee defense. Quite the foe indeed, and with the buff that Footlords have gotten, definitely a very formidable presence on the battlefield. Otherwise, frontline is going to be Chaos Marauders stretching off across the battlefield. They will be, of course, supported by a Chaos Sorcerer of Metal, going to be bringing Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust. We have some Marauder Horsemen in the rear for a little bit of skirmish potential, and we do have a Hell Cannon as well. A somewhat risky pick against Dark Elves with the presence of those crossbows and the Reaper Bolt Throwers, but they should be able to do quite well if they are able to steer clear of those kinds of units. We do have a couple Feral Manticores up in the sky. Very nice unit here. Can really put a hurt on any of the casters of the Dark Elves. They do have that Rampage, which can make them a little bit of a finicky unit, especially when the Blackguard is pretty common, I would say, in this matchup. We do have some Chaos Knights on the far flanks, going to be supported by some Chaos Warhounds with poison, helping slow down that Dark Elf cav. We also do have a little sneaky Vanguard in the rear with a couple of regular Chaos Warhounds looking to potentially shut down any of those Reaper Bolt Throwers if there would have been any on the field. But for the Dark Elves, there are not. They are going to be led by Lokir Fellheart. Once again, the Kraken Lord graces us with his presence. He is going to be rocking with the Blades of the Blood Queen, who do give a Guardian, and Lokir does have his own bit of regeneration in melee, and he does have a nice little buff to melee defense when he is engaged in melee. He will be supported by some troops, though, as he does have some Bleak Swords for that front line, and we do have some Dark Riders, going to be the mobility, with some Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows and Cold One Knights. So very formidable presence. But against Chaos Knights, these Cold One Knights are going to be a little hard to win that engagement, though they have plenty of support with those Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows. And of course, there are the Shades. They do have stock, and they do have armor-piercing missile fire, so they'll be able to get right up close to the keen targets that they want to be shooting at, which is going to be the Chaos Knights in this particular matchup. And if they can get in range of that Hell Cannon, though, the Chaos forces should be able to keep them away, at least for the time being. And we do have a Sorceress of Shadow as well, with Malekos Mystifying Miasma to get a little bit of slow into the field to allow their units to get those engagements. We also have Enfeebling Foe, and we have the Pendulum. Now, the lore of Shadows isn't quite as good as it used to be. It has had a little fall from grace with the nerf to the Pendulum, but it's still a useful tool in this fight here. So let's get things underway, though, as the Hell Cannon has opened up and is going to be trying to target these Blades of the Blood Queen, which is exactly the target it wants to be hitting at. These very elite troops, nice tightly packed, should do a lot of damage if the shots are able to hit. First one did go a little high, but the shots will continue to rain in, and they should be able to keep things away from that Hell Cannon. There isn't really anything that has immediate range that should be able to get to them. We do have these Shades. If we take a look at their little range of fire, they are going to try and get to that Hell Cannon, but the front line should be able to keep them away. And now, especially since they have been spotted, these Marauders really should be able to push forward, but you can see those Shades really want to get on top of that Hell Cannon, and they are going to be a little too far away. However, these units, there are some gaps in the formation, as they have gotten a little bit too far ahead of themselves, as these Chaos Feral Manticores have dropped in, but the mobility engagements are going to be underway as the Repeater Crossbow is going to be firing in. They will have the damage output against these Marauder Horsemen, but the Marauder Horsemen do have 360 firing, and these Chaos Knights with Lances, definitely, if they do get the charge off on these Cold One Knights, they will be doing quite handily. But it looks like the Cold One Knights do get the drop on them this time. Dark Riders will be taking that charge, and the Dark Elves will take that trade any day of the week. Looks like we do have a Final Transmutation, though, going to be going down, overcasted as well, going to hit these Bleak Swords and the Blades of the Blood Queen, as well as Lokir, and away he does go, just as that Chaos Feral Manticore does rout. but he is going to be kicked out, and he does have that little debuff, but it was casted on the ground, so as soon as he was kicked out, he did stop taking the damage from that final trans. But if we take a look at the mobility fights, these Chaos Knights have taken a ton of damage, but there are still some left, though they will be getting a nice little charge into these Cold One Knights, and should be able to turn that engagement with their assistance. However, the rest of the forces, I mean, these Chaos Warhounds getting eaten by these Dark Riders. Dark Riders, definitely a good catch there. Otherwise, the other units of Chaos Warhounds going to be in the back, really kind of shutting things down. But Sigvald, he has seemed to have met his match from Lokir Felhart, as Lokir does have bonus versus infantry, and he have quite a bit of abilities for dueling other lords, and he is just giving Sigvald the business here, as he is just handing him and doing a ton of damage in return. Though Sigvald, he was able to put a decent showing, but the Scion of Slaanesh is going to fall to Lokir. The Hell Cannon is going to continue to fire in right into these drooped up shades, and so is these Chaos Sorcerer Metal going to be getting pushed off the field. Now these Chaos Marauders definitely going to want to try and peel off these Blades of the Blood Queen. They need their leadership back, as Prince Sigvald is routing, though he isn't gone just yet, though these shades are going to be a bit of a problem, as they are going to continue firing into his retreating. And we do have the Sorceress of Shadow, though, but is being pressured by these Chaos Feral Manticores, and is going to be routing and almost shattering as well. And just does she get a cast off? She does get Milkos off, so doing a little bit of damage and slowing him down, though, which is what that cast was for. Now the mobility is going the way of Chaos by the looks of things, and having that Hell Cannon fire in throughout the course of the battle into some very elite troops has done wonders for the Chaos forces here, as the balance power is handedly in their favor. The only real victory here is Lokir being able to beat Sigvald, though Sigvald is going to be able to at least escape from him for the time being, though Lokir seems to be closing that gap. But that is going to be game, as army losses do take it for the Dark Elves, regardless of how well that Lord engagement did go. So take a little look at the after battle report. The Hell Cannon doing some very good work, 1700 firing into those very elite troops of the Blades of the Blood Queen, and they did not get their value, sadly, taking quite a bit of damage on that approach, and nothing was quite able to reach that Hell Cannon. Definitely the things that all of the Elves factions really need to kind of worry about is the possibility that a Hell Cannon can be there with how tightly grouped their infantry is, and that damage just racks up very, very quickly against units quite in that particular kind of formation. Chaos Feral Manticores, I mean, they were just kind of there on the field, able to get rid of that Chaos Source, or the Sorcerer of Shadows for the Dark Elves, but otherwise they really didn't do a whole lot. Those shades really being able to kind of pepper them down and keep them honest. And while the rest of the mobility, I mean, it was just kind of a little lackluster for the Dark Elves. They really just weren't able to get the engagements that they wanted. Lokir was able to beat down Sigvald, but that was all that they really did. And the rest of the forces just kind of crumpled to the overall, like, nothing really stood out other than the Hell Cannon for Chaos. Pretty much everything did pretty much carried their weight throughout the course of the battle. And Chaos will take it, though, in the end. And that is all I'm going to have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.